ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit has called on the government to stop burdening Kenyans with the high cost of living and actually instead deliver on their campaign promises. So the question today on Business Glide on Siasa Brigade actually is the church finally finding its voice, and is it amplified enough? That is the conversation, and I'm yours truly, Richard Mwanjo. Welcome on board. Now to unpack that conversation is Herman Manyora, East Africa's renowned political analyst and the greatest public scholar this side of the Sahara. Welcome on set, sir.
Funny accolades, but I'm okay. How are you?
You are biggest expert.
No.
And it goes without saying, after Mudavadi though.
Of course, maybe before him.
Very well. Actually, you are trending on X, and women leaders are on your neck. They are saying you are the enemy to women's progress. You are saying to hell with 2/3 gender rule.
It doesn't make sense. Cosmetics, looking at the outside of a cup like Jesus said, without looking inside. This country is in a mess. This sort of countries of ours, they require to be redeemed, to be saved from misery, poverty, dirt. It's not time to talk about women. It's time to talk about the best man and the best woman for every job available in the country. And it will pay dividends. What we need to do, and a lot of this has been done, remove obstacle in the way of women. Right from school, in employment, and people forget there were so many obstacles. I was just a man when a woman could not go out of the country without either permission from the husband or the father, even opening a bank account. Not so long ago across the world, women were not even were not allowed to vote. We have come a long way. And I do not see much that stands in the way of women getting positions in the country. And therefore, let's stop the lazy way of saying women should be given things.
That is a very
It even denies a woman. Let me give you an example. My chairman, she was Professor Lucia Omondi. I think she was the first woman full professor in Kenya. She was very annoyed when people kept referring to her, the first woman, because she got it on her own accord. And now it's being reduced to a woman thing. So you can also deny people the sweetness of their victory by reducing it to a woman thing.
True.
You get it? So I think it's time Kenyans just went with the meritocracy. Singapore did not become what it is by giving women and men equal opportunity. Legislating on that. Give people equal opportunities. Let equity work.
Clear the obstacles on their way.
Clear the obstacles.
And that's it.
Today in Kenya, there are very few. When my mother was growing up, my grandfather Inyonga was forced to make a clear choice between educating my mother and educating the brother Joseph. And obviously, you can know who was educated.
Joseph, yeah, sure.
Not to mention that the cows that will be educating these people, these boys, will be cows from their aunts.
Dowry.
But still, we are long past that. I do not see a situation in this country where somebody's daughter can score 410 marks admitted at Lions High School, and the son to the same man scores 250 admitted to some CDF school. And they'll choose to. Is there a place in this country which works like that? No.
It doesn't. But that's still a highly emotive subject. And if you were to eye elective seat in the near future, would you still stand by that position that you're holding today?
Yes.
No more to that gender rule.
No. Because I'll tell Kenyans, if I was going for the president, I'll tell Kenyans, I don't want to give you populist things. I want to move this country forward. I want to assure you, I'm putting a machinery in place, and I already tabled it before Kenyans. I'll table before Kenyans a system that is foolproof, where you will not need to know anybody to get a job. There will be a system in which we feed all the names of all Kenyans with all qualifications and their backgrounds. If you stole somewhere, your name is there, nobody can give you another job. The moment a job becomes vacant, the system just says, for that job we have 10 people. Interview them and get the best.
And you're sure that
And nobody will be employing, not even the governors. There is nobody who will employ people. If a county wants to employ a driver, they just say we now qualify for a driver because 2 drivers have since resigned. So we need a driver. Say fine. That request is pushed into the system and they'll be given a driver. Nobody's employing anybody. Hakuna kwa public sector anybody employing anybody. You have no power. It's a system working.
with Manyora as the
So at
president,
that time now, merit will be mainstreamed.
fronts it.
And therefore there will be no issue of a woman or a man. If the best person is a woman, she just gets it.
With Manyora as the head of state, you can
Yes,
actually
that is me.
execute that, the highest degree of military precision.
That is me.
That is
It
it.
will work exactly like that.
Right, that of the way, sir. Straight into our conversation today. We've seen ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, your good friend, calling out on the government to do away with the empty promises and actually actualize their campaign promises, and in the meantime, actually bring down the cost of living. But a number of Kenyans, majority, are rubbishing away calls by Sapit saying he must walk with the president to the end. They're saying Zakayo. Hakuna kuachilia Zakayo kwa sasa. Why?
All the
would
way from Bomas to
to the end, to
2027.
2027. But from where you sit as your footnote, sir, is Sapit not worthy the ground to call out the government when they're not addressing issues affecting
But Sapit is a Kenyan. He can criticize, he can advise. He occupies a very important position in this country. Head of the Anglican Church is not a small person.
But boy, then this mass dismissal by people that you cannot
They are
listen
just
to.
remembering what he did in Bomas, that's all.
That's all.
That's all. But at a higher level, they are looking at the church and say the church is long compromised. And the final nail in the coffin of the church was last year when they allowed themselves to be used
Talking of which,
openly, publicly, foolishly, like children.
talking of which, are you saying that the church literally absconded its spiritual duties by and large and went into commercial and political interests?
Of course. Because you only need to go back and rewind and see Bishop Okulu, Alexander Muge, Ndingi Mwananzeki, David Gitari, Reverend Timothy Njoya, Kaisa, the American Kaisa. You know, and so on, and Jenga, the All Saint Cathedral. You see, I remember them. Who can I remember now, these fake fellows?
You can't call spiritual leaders fake fellows.
They are not spiritual. Most of them are just commercial fellows.
Most of them have trickled to state
And the
house.
others are tribalists. That's all. The church absconded. The church left the flock. The sheep was left
in the world.
to the wolves to eat. Kibaki's victory marked the beginning of very many bad things in this country. When all of us were vilifying Moya and saying he done all manner of things, he was a dictator, we didn't know that other people were simply pursuing a tribal agenda. As soon as Kibaki became president, Michuki told us, we just wanted to get rid of Moi. These are the things we are introducing, were not in the agenda. Go home.
Go home.
Yeah. And the church quickly went to bed with government. They were just tribalists. Civil society, which was mainly Kikuyu. Church, which at that time was mainly Kikuyu, the voice. They were not fighting against Moi because Moi was a dictator. They were fighting because he was not a Kikuyu.
So I actually take concern with what you are passing across, because I mean, in the recent past we've seen a delegation of clergymen heading to State House, and oftentimes there they say they are going to seek development on behalf of the church and on behalf of the people where these churches are domiciled at. Is it bad for them to go to State House and actually look for
they
development?
seek development, and sometimes when they come out, we see them with brown envelopes, which is good.
Self-development?
They are good people. They also they have people to take care of. They have interests. They have stomachs. They need food. They need to dress well. They live in this world, the here and the now. This is a world of flesh.
Are you a believer, Prof?
That's neither here nor there.
Because I'm asking this because someone will actually take concern with you, because you are literally rubbishing off the place of church in politics.
But we saw what the church did last year. We saw it. Is that a church you can be proud of? The answer is certainly no. Yeah.
Moving on swiftly, Actually, as much as Ole Sapit is calling in for the government to deliver on its campaign promises, majority of these promises were declared at the altar. And my question is, as a renowned political analyst, is the altar the suitest bed to lie a political promise on? It is easier received by people when it's said from the church.
You know, Karl Marx said a long time ago that religion is the opium of the poor. Dini ni kasumba, bangi ya maskini. So if you want to reach the poor, reach them through religion. It works easy.
Than roadside
wale wako na
declarations.
deep state, sisi tuko na Mungu. It works well.
Ni God.
Then you are seen in church, and then the church people are hosting you, and they are singing your praise, and they are talking about you.
Thanksgiving ceremonies.
Some sort of you'll penetrate the people. So it's everywhere in backward societies. Religion has been used, and so it was not starting with Kenya.
Now that you're talking about the church being compromised for political and commercial interest, would you then suggest that we go heavy on political activism? Case in point, maybe we have other versions of Kamwene Leadership Forum, which is being fronted by Jeremiah Kioni and Martha Karua.
Let me tell you, we are passing through a season where organized resistance is not very effective. What is organized resistance? The church became tribal and lost its voice. It has not recovered. Last year, they allowed the final nail go through their coffin. Civil society lost its voice after Kibaki became president. And a number of civil society members were mainstreamed in government, including being made judges. They went silent. Tribal. They have never recovered. Media has played an important role. We are lucky we have social media, which you can't easily compromise. But the mainstream media is very easily harassed and compromised because they survive on government money, advertising from government. If government doesn't give them business, they collapse. And therefore, they will do anything for government. So you can see, therefore, organized voices have entered into what we call manufactured dissent. They allow themselves to be censored. They censor themselves, and they can therefore not help this country. That means, even now, who remains? You are saying Kamwene, political leadership. The political leadership in this country cannot manage government. Why? The Kenyan political space has been polluted with money. Politics has been so corrupted with money that you cannot go anywhere without money. That's why Raila's resistance is not as effective as it is, because he doesn't have money. And if he has, he doesn't employ it. You get it? That's why a lot of his MPs have been swept, have been taken to the other side. The remaining, they are even governors, they are pretending they are with Raila, but they are with the government. So the politics has been so corrupted with money that even that Kamwene thing will not go far.
It won't
Because
go.
without money, you need billions of shillings to participate in Kenya's political space. That leaves us a very unfortunate situation. And that's why I keep telling leaders, don't think you are clever. The people will go to the streets without Raila. That will be the end of this country.
A revolution will happen
Of course.
in Kenya.
Yes, of course, of course. Without Raila, without anybody, they'll go there and you'll do nothing to them. These are not people you can even shoot.
They'll be in their masses.
Yes.
What we saw the other day with Azimio protests
That is just picnic.
a teaser of what
That
can
was
come
just
ahead.
picnic. Sunday school picnic.
Very well, sir. You are a seasoned historian, and my question is, now that you are saying civil society has been compromised, political activism, and also the church, so how long will it actually take for us to likely have a reincarnated, say, Gitobu Manyara, Tom Mboyo, J.M. Kariuki, people who are heavy on political activism and championing for the rights of the citizens?
You see, I've told you there's going to be a revolution. Whichever way you define a revolution. Some upheaval in this country. Because the leadership has refused to see. People continue to suffer. They continue to impose taxes on the people. They continue to rise the cost
of living.
Cost of things. Cost of living continues to go up. Side by side with that, they engage in opulence, in wastage. MPs keep giving themselves money and using the slightest excuse to go out of the country, come back with millions of shillings, you know, in per diem and what have you. So here is a population that is suffering. Yet you continue to lord over them, to make them suffer more by increasing prices of essential commodities and everything, by adding more taxes. Just next to that, we have leaders traversing the country in big vehicles and helicopters, spending. And when they are not spending in the villages with helicopters and big vehicles, they are in the sky going to all places in the world with millions of shillings. This is not tenable. It's not sustainable. It's not Manyora saying. It's simply not sustainable. So it will burst. Katapasuka pap na katanuka.
And you shall
Kakipasuka kananuka. Kakinuka sisi wote tutaumia. Now, when that happens, a new crop of leaders will emerge.
Latter-day Manyora saying.
Yeah, a new crop of leaders will emerge. And Kenya will birth a new Kenya. My only advice and warning to leaders is that this can take a long, long time to get anywhere near where we are today. That's why I keep advising my friends. You live in Lavington. I was reading a book by an essay, collection of essays by James Baldwin. There's one there called Fire Next Time. He says the white man has exploited the black man so much. But you know what is the guiding principle? The white man thinks the world is fixed, like where the North Star is. The black man is where the black man is, and the white man is where the white man is. I refer this leader to books like those, Fire Next Time. Look, leave that Fire Next Time. So that if they woke up one day and they found a black man was occupying a different space, it's like waking up in the at midnight and you see the sun up. You know, you go mad. And I'm sure the presence of Obama must have disturbed many souls in America. So our leaders in this country are as foolish and as stupid as that. They think because you live in Karen or Lavington, you are essentially, materially, genetically better than the person who is living in Kawangware. That's not the truth. It's just opportunities. And for you to continue remaining in Lavington, the situation must be such that you do not push this person in Kibera below a certain line. When a man crosses a certain line, he becomes an animal. So if you continue imposing taxes on Kenyans, and the cost of living going up, and on the other hand, you are living large on their money, katapasuka. And the person in Kibera, they will go and occupy your houses in Lavington. It's just as simple and as easy as that. And I'm not warning anybody, I'm not scaring anybody, because it is not sustainable for you to live a 5-course meal life when the person in Kibera cannot even afford uji peke yake. It's not sustainable. They'll come for you.
In the fullness of time.
Oh, of course.
There you have it from a man born Manyora. We've been talking matters, the place of the church in the politics of the day, and whether the church has amplified its voice enough so that it can champion for the rights of the citizens and for their interest in that very same sphere. Thank you so much for tuning in. Continue watching other shows on the channel with Jadiel Kabiro, Evan Sokinyi, and Mundia Gitau. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing.